constipation can have a root cause. Usually it has a root cause. So when we talk about constipation or diarrhea, constipation is when you don't go to the bathroom every single day, and believe me, everybody should have a bowel movement every single day. So if you don't go to the bathroom every single day, you have constipation, or you may go every day to the bathroom, but then you have hard stools. So that is also constipation. Diarrhea is when you don't go to the bathroom, when you go to the bathroom 5 or more times, or when you go, the consistency of your stools is loose. So that is constipation or diarrhea. So how we can control that is with certain foods. What can be the reason for being constipated? So sometimes it's not as simple as taking tons of fiber or adding more vegetables into your diet. That definitely is important, but there may be another underlying condition that is causing the constipation. So definitely poor diet is a big deal, but also stress. When you go under a lot of stress, the release of cortisol or even the lack of neurotransmitters production can cause being constipated. Hypothyroidism is also a big cause for constipation, big one. So when your thyroid is sluggish, is not working properly, it has been shown to affect the motility. The thyroid controls how fast your metabolism is working. So also you have hypothyroidism, that may be a cause also for weight loss resistance. But it's also very important that you control, that controls also motility. Somebody also says in here, why do I get constipated when I cut calories? Because if you are cutting calories, by cutting down in fat is essential for moving your stools, for softening the stools. Talking about hormonal imbalance, that was one of the reasons why I was constipated in the past, because I was an estrogen dominant woman. So if you are a woman that suffers from PMSing, getting bloated, liquid retention, a lot of symptoms during your periods, if you have weight loss resistance, if you have belly fat accumulation, or you are in menopause and then you have hot flashes, osteoporosis, weight loss resistance, you may have an estrogen imbalance. And that can definitely be a big trigger for also constipation. So hormonal imbalance is very important to identify it when you suffer from constipation. Also, another reason for constipation, which is one of the most common, is if you have gut microbes imbalance. Gut microbes imbalance like SIBO, small intestine bacteria overgrowth, or Candida overgrowth. So those are microbes, opportunistic microbes that our mother gave to us during birth and breastfeeding. They have to stay in the large intestine. The problem comes when they get overgrowth from the large intestine into the small intestine, and they start fermenting everything, start fermenting food. And mostly a type of carbohydrate that is called FODMAP. So when you have an overgrowth of those microbes, the fermentation and the release of gas start causing constipation or diarrhea. So if you have a small intestine bacteria overgrowth hydrogen producer, they are causing the hydrogen travelers diarrhea. If you have an overgrowth of methane producers, they tend to cause the constipation. But I don't recommend to treat yourself the SIBO if you think you will have it, because sometimes you can have an overgrowth of both hydrogen and methane, and then the treatment has to be totally specific. So how do you find out if you have SIBO or Candida? So the way to do that is there is a very comprehensive stool test that you can do, and it's going to screen your whole microbiome to know if you have parasites, which that can cause also some diarrhea. You have SIBO, you have overgrowth of microbes that are histamine producers, which is also a big cause of constipation, having histamine intolerance. It's going to tell you if you have yeast, virus. Also, if the beneficial microbes are low in numbers, that can be a big cause also for constipation. So that's the stool test. There is also a breath test. It's a breathing test where you are going to collect the type of gas, and it's going to tell us if you have hydrogen SIBO or methane SIBO. So I can order this type of test for you to identify what you have. Also, talking about tests, a big cause also for constipation is having low stomach acid, and that can be also related to having a heartburn or reflux. So don't take stomach protectants or antacids, because those are causing are blocking your stomach acid even more, and that can cause more constipation. So how that happen? We have hydrochloric acid helping you break down the food. When you don't break down the food well, it's gonna sit in your stomach and it's gonna start getting fermented by the microbes, and that food is what is gonna start causing heartburn and reflux if you don't digest the food, and that end up causing constipation, toxin buildup in your liver. Liver toxicity is a big cause as well for constipation. So working with cleansing your liver is also essential. So the stool test can also help us identify how well you are breaking down the food, if you have malabsorption, if you may have low stomach acid. So it's a really, really comprehensive test. So as you can see, having constipation or diarrhea is much more complex than we think about, so testing is usually key, but I brought a bunch of things in here with me to help you with some remedies if you are looking for some remedies to take right now that can help you with the constipation or the diarrhea. So if we start talking about food, so one of the things that can help you with that is green leafy vegetables, and this is kale. You don't have to like kale, you don't have to eat kale if you don't like it. A lot of people they don't like it, but there are many other type of green leafy vegetables, and actually not everybody can digest kale, because kale has a very raw, like a very hard fiber, really hard to digest, and that can cause even more constipation if you cannot break it down and assimilate it. Fiber is important when we talk about constipation. If you have a low fiber diet, that's a big trigger, but too much of it, or if you are not able to pass it through, that can cause more flare-ups of constipation. So that is something to think about. So how green leafy vegetables can help you? So green leafy vegetables are really high in fiber, but also very high in magnesium. And magnesium is a mineral, is an electrolyte that help you in bringing water content into the intestines, and also help you in softening the stools, so help passing the stools through the intestine. Also talking about food, one of my favorite is aloe vera, and I brought here some frozen aloe vera, but if you have the plant, it's also fine. It's very hard to find an aloe vera juice out there that is clean, so I don't recommend it. But how aloe vera helps you is because it has tons of vitamins, minerals, and also some electrolytes that help you bring water content and softening the stools. But in particular, aloe vera has anthraquinones. That's an active compound that what it's doing is activating mucus secretion, softening the stools, bringing water, as I mentioned, and also inducing the peristaltic movement. So if you have a plant, the way to make your aloe vera juice is you get the leaf, you cut the leaf, you cut the green part of the aloe vera that we cannot digest, and then you scoop out the gel, and that gel you can blend it in your blender with a little bit of water, and then put it in an airtight container, and you can take 2 to 4 tablespoons of the aloe vera juice a day to help you with the constipation. Another way of doing it, now a lot of health food stores, they sell in the frozen section pure aloe vera. So they just scoop out the gel, from the plant, and they cut it in small cubes. So you can just put it in the blender with your smoothies, make a juice with it, as I said now with the plant. You can put it with the food. There is not a specific protocol of when to do it, but if you do it in the morning, that can help you with the constipation and start stimulating the peristaltic movement in the morning. So aloe vera, one of my favorite. So Jessica says, I have seen large aloe vera in produce at Walmart and I was confused, but now I know why. Yes, sometimes you can see in the produce section of some supermarket the aloe vera leaf. So you can just scoop out the gel. It's really good not just for helping you with peristaltic movement, but also really good for healing the gut lining if you have gastrointestinal inflammation. So that is really, really good food. Then talking about incorporating fiber. Fiber, as I said, can be a weapon depending on the problem that you have. But there are different things that you can use to incorporate fiber coming from food. So one of them is chia seeds and flax seeds, and also psyllium husk powder. Psyllium husk powder, which is a very powerful fiber. And then flax seeds and chia seeds, they are very high in fiber. They have tons of fiber besides having a lot of omega-3 fatty acid, which is anti-inflammatory, and also having a lot of protein. 4 tablespoons of chia is like a whole 4 ounces steak of protein. So a very, very good source. Ideally, when you use chia or flax seeds, you want to grind them to get the more beneficial antioxidants and nutrients from them instead of the whole chia, and you are going to be able to utilize also the fiber much better and pass it through much better. So when you use psyllium husk flax meal or chia meal, you just make it by putting your chia seeds or your flax seeds in a coffee grinder or in a blender, and that is making your chia meal or your flax meal. So the fiber is absorbing a lot of water into the intestines and a gelatinous substance that is gonna bulk up the passage of the food and the stools through the bowel movement. So really, really good for helping you with constipation. Flax meal and psyllium husk are helping you also with diarrhea, not just with constipation. It helps bulking up the stools. So if you are having loose stools, you can use psyllium husk powder. So how much you use for chia meal or flax meal, you can do 1 to 2 tablespoons in 12 ounces of water. You have to drink a lot of water whenever you are using this kind of fibers, otherwise they are just gonna get stuck in your intestine. This is the best substitute for the Metamucil and all those artificial over-the-counter fibers if you are taking any. So 1 to 2 tablespoons of flax meal or chia meal in 12 ounces of water, ideally before you go to bed, so you can have a bowel movement in the morning, or you can take it in the morning as well. For psyllium husk is much less. 1 to 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, teaspoons in 12 ounces of water also before you go to bed. And that can help you with that. Then there is a lot of people that cannot have those type of fibers, because as soon as they put this type of fibers in their gut, they start getting bloated or they even get more constipated. And that is because maybe they have a small intestine bacteria overgrowth or SIBO or even candida overgrowth. Not everybody can use this type of fiber. So there is a very good supplement that I like that what contains is a type of fiber that is Monash Institute approved. Monash Institute designed the low FODMAP diet. This type of other type of fibers like psyllium husk, flax meal, and chia, if you take 2 psyllium husk, flax meal, and chia, if you take 2 FODMAP, so start getting fermented by the microbes if you have SIBO, and then start causing more constipation. So sun fiber, which comes from war gum, has been Monash Institute approved for a low FODMAP fiber, so that will be safe to take if you suffer from SIBO, small intestine bacteria overgrowth. And Wargam is coming from the Haskin and Myelin Warbin, but it doesn't have the FODMAP part anymore, so it's not going to cause more constipation. One of them is MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides, MCT oil. MCT oil is a type of fatty acid that is isolated mostly from coconut, and it's not going to get stored in your adipose tissue, and your body is using as a fuel to go to the mitochondria and then produce fuel and burn fat efficiently. But MCT oil has been shown to have a laxative effect as well, and helping you softening the stools. So for some people, just having 2 tablespoons, for other people, just 1 tablespoon of MCT oil a day in the morning activates the peristaltic movement to help you going to the bathroom. So that is also one of my favorite supplements to take. So the sunflower, MCT oil, and then when I was talking about the green leafy vegetables, so one of the things that I mentioned was magnesium. Electrolyte deficiency and magnesium deficiency has been shown to be one of the biggest also causes for constipation. For example, when we talk about electrolytes, when you, for example, are on ketogenic diets, start cutting down carbohydrates and foods that are high in minerals, you may feel that you are having the keto flu in the transition to be a fat burner efficiently. That is because of cutting down electrolytes. If you have leg cramping, that is also a lack of electrolytes, constipation as well. So, for example, when we talk about potassium that you can find in electrolytes and salt, potassium has been shown to be very important for conducting signal from the brain to the muscles to be contracted. So when you are low in potassium, that may affect also the contraction and the peristaltic movement in your intestines. And then magnesium, as I mentioned before, is very important for softening the stools and bringing water to your intestines, and also for relaxing the smooth muscle cells of the muscles, so helping you with bowel movement. So yeah, a lot of people, yes, Jessica has a lack of magnesium. So there are different types of magnesiums to take if you suffer from constipation: magnesium citrate, oxide, or sulfate, but the sulfate may cause some gastrointestinal disorders for some people. So in the supplements that I recommend in my bio, I incorporate a very good magnesium citrate that you can take every day, and I travel with it all the time. Traveling for some people can trigger, when you change your circadian cycle, constipation, so that's my case. So I travel with magnesium citrate all the time. Glycinate is also a very good form of magnesium that actually has a very high absorption, very high absorption, one of the best to be absorbed. For some people can help with constipation, but not for everybody. Usually the other forms of magnesium help you with constipation better. So adding electrolytes also into your water. I have this electrolytes, trace mineral, is just salty. This is a concentrated seawater, so it's very high in salt. If you have high blood pressure, you have to control how much of this you are using. But this is something that I add to my water every time. I use reverse osmosis water that tends to deplete also a lot of minerals. So when I take my water, I add 7 drops of this per 32 ounces, 1 liter of water, and I do that through the day, and that replenishes the lack of electrolytes as well. Adding salt, like Himalayan salt, Celtic salt into the water, that can help you as well with that. So the electrolytes, the magnesium itself, the sunfiber, the MCT oil, and then probiotic food, probiotic capsules that are rich in bifidobacteria, lactobacillus, bacillus, and Saccharomyces boulardii, that has been shown to be a very good strain to also fight an overgrowth of yeast or SIBO. But remember, if you have SIBO, you have to treat the overgrowth first and then put the probiotic. And one of my favorite supplements also to take is a Multi-Pro. Multi-Pro contains a lot of foods that also help you with the motility, with moving the bowel movement. Contains ginger extract, really high concentrations of ginger extract. Contains 5-HTP. 5-HTP is the precursor of serotonin, and serotonin has been shown to be the precursor of melatonin, so that can help you sleeping, but also very important for in the peristaltic movement, for moving the stools. So 5-HTP is in that lacking neurotransmitter production in your gut can also cause constipation. So 5-HTP, precursor of serotonin, really important for bowel movement. And also this supplement has ginger and has carnitine. And carnitine is a molecule that is on the surface of our mitochondria. The mitochondria is the organelle that produces energy in the form of ATP. We use ATP for everything that we use. For talking to you right now, opening my eyes, walking, everything we do depends on ATP. So carnitine is the transporter that helps you passing the fat or the glucose to be used as a fuel to produce ATP. So when it has been shown that when we lack carnitine, we can end up with also cell dysfunction. And also carnitine has been shown to be a really important molecule together with ginger to support the neurotransmitters function in our gut and help with the peristaltic movement. So this supplement contains a lot of those foods, plus ginger, besides supporting the neurotransmitters function, also aids digestion. If you take it after your meals, aids digestion, prevents nausea. So Jessica, I cannot show brands in here, so it's why I didn't show the bottle. But as a recap from all of this, testing what is the root cause of your constipation is always key. Maybe it's a hormonal imbalance, maybe it's an overgrowth of microbes, it can be stress itself. Maybe you have a lack of fiber in your diet, or calorie restriction, or a lack of fat. Like, there are different things that can cause the constipation. But if you want any remedy, put in green leafy vegetables, good source of fiber and magnesium. Aloe vera, amazing for activating the peristaltic movement. Fiber like psyllium husk, flax meal, or chia meal. Or if you have SIBO, you can get some fiber, which is a low FODMAP approved. A good probiotic, MCT oil that we also talk about. Adding electrolytes into your water, taking magnesium as well. Or even the super, very important Motil Pro supplement that I just mentioned with carnitine, ginger, 5-HTP is a really, really good supplement to help you with the motility every day. Thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna be jumping live every single Wednesday to answer your questions. So be sure you send me your questions through messages or comments. And Jessica said, thank you very much. I took a lot of notes. I'm so glad. I'm going to be jumping to talk about candida overgrowth, leaky gut, how to overcome all of that. So be sure that you stay tuned for the lives that are going to be happening every single Wednesday. And they are available here on the platform for 24 more hours. Thank you so much for joining. If you are new to the channel, follow so you don't miss any notifications for future lives or any other content that I bring. Check the supplements. You don't have to be stuck. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye.